Good evening, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon to everybody who came from all over the world. Thank you very much for coming to our webinar, Merch webinar, Taxes for Expat in Germany. And my name is Tal Gibish. From those of you who don't know me yet, I'm the founder of Gibish Consulting GmbH, a company agency, boutique agency that deals with immigration and relocation matters from people coming all over the world, from all over the world to Germany. And we help with visas, residence permits, relocation process from your home country to Germany, all over Germany. And we have also, we deal with all bureaucracies, but today we deal with a very specific kind of bureaucracy that is very, well, in Germany, it's considered to be very tough. So today we're going to host Johanna Peper, who is a tax advisor and accountant and from Germany, and she will introduce herself in a minute. And if you have any questions, please write them down in the chat part, and we will address the questions in the Q&A part. I will also put our website, contact details, email, so you can contact us afterwards. And of course, this webinar is being recorded, so we will post it on YouTube channel and on social media. So, Johanna, floor is yours.
Hello, and thank you very much.
Yeah, okay. There you go.
Thank you very much. I'm Johanna Peper, and I'm going to tell you something about some tax basics in Germany. Please keep in mind these are only general information, so this is any specific individual topics need to be explained and cleared up in private. So you can write an email or anything to just we could do it in an individual moment. So I'm gonna share my screen now. I hope it works. So you should see my presentation now. Tal, is it okay?
Works well.
All right. So yeah, we are talking about some general tax information in Germany for expats. And my name is Johanna Peper. I'm a tax professional. I'm working a lot for international taxation, tax advice, and how to apply double tax treaties, financial statements, financial tax declarations, and anything else. So communicating with German authorities is something I need to do every day. So this is my field of work, and I'm working for Auren Germany. Auren Germany is part of a big network all over the world. So we have offices in Germany, in Israel, in the Netherlands. And also I'm part of the German-Israeli desk, which we are managing from Hamburg in Germany. And our partners in Israel is Auren Israel, and they are managed by Yaniv and Ophia Angel. So we are in close contact, and we are advising clients all over Germany and Israel and so on. Also, we are part of the Antea network. Therefore, we have offices all over Europe, America, the Middle East, and we have also partners in the USA. So if anything needs to be done, we can contact our partners and ask them for help for the US part. So this is a very, very good thing. So we can also communicate with other countries and get in contact. So what are we talking about today? Today we are talking about some really basic information about the tax system in Germany. So what happens when you move to Germany and what are the implications in this case? Why are tax classes a very important thing in Germany, and why might it be important for you to think about what tax class will be the right one for you? And when and why should you register at financial authority? And what are the tax implications afterwards? What are some common mistakes you can do in Germany, which you should avoid? And it's actually really easy to avoid, but you just have to keep them in mind. And I will give you some advantages of having a tax advisor in Germany. So let's talk about moving to Germany. And when you're moving to Germany, I assume that you're establishing a residence. You can also establish an habitual abode here. That's when you're living here for more than 183 days, but not only for vacation purposes, but for maybe work purposes or anything else. So this means that your tax liability changes in Germany and you're unlimited tax liable. So all your income needs to be taxed in Germany. This is very important to know because the taxation is not only about the income that you earn in Germany, but also the income that you might have all over the world. So if you have companies all over the world, or you have some, I don't know what kind of income, rental income all over the world, this need to be considered in your income tax declaration in Germany. So it might not be taxed, but it needs to be considered in the whole calculation. So this is very important to know. And also it's important for you if you're an employee and you're working for an employer in Germany, why is it important to choose a tax class for your wage tax? So let's start with the tax classes now. In Germany, we have 6 different tax classes, and the first 2 are very, very simple. So if you're just a single person, you're not married, you're divorced or widowed, you're tax class number 1. If you're a single parent and you're not married or divorced or anything, you're tax class 2. So that's very similar to tax class number 1. The tax classes 3, 4, and 5 are for married couples, and they might be a bit more important for you. So this is why I will talk about them in the next sheet. The tax class 6 is actually everyone can have this tax class, but no one wants them. So this is like when you have several contracts of employment and the wage tax deduction will be much higher. So this is something you can talk about when you have several contracts, but you don't want this. It's not that important right now, but yeah. So let's talk about married couples. Married couples can have different tax class combinations. So one partner can have one tax class 4, the other one also 4, but you can also have 3 and 5. So this is why we have 3 different tax class combinations. The usual one that you get after marrying your partner is the tax class combination 4 and 4. This is actually like a little bit like tax class number 1, because the tax deduction that you get in your monthly salary will be like almost the same for tax class number 1, and it's very equal in the end of the year. So this is like when you have an equal income, both partners are also almost maybe earning the same, or the wage deduction doesn't mean so much to them, the monthly deduction, then you can choose this combination. And the other combination, which is mostly used by partners with a very different kind of income, they choose tax class combination 3 and 5. So one partner chooses tax class 3 and one partner the tax class 5. You have to apply for this for financial authority, but this can, for example, be used if one partner has a very high income and the other partner has no income at all, or a very low income. So the wage tax deduction is lower in the monthly salary, but it is in the end of the year you have to do a tax declaration, and it might lead to a tax payment, but it can also be equal in the end. So this is very individual. If you think about this, yeah, you might need to ask someone if it is for your personal situation, if this tax class combination 3 and 5 can apply to it or not. Also, which is very new, is the tax class combination 4 with factor. The tax class combination should replace the tax class combination 3 and 5 for a better calculation of the wage tax. It should be a privilege for married couples, but still it's mainly used for tax class 3 and 5. So tax class combination 4 and 4 with factor is new, and the calculation is different, and you also have to apply for it. So yeah, this is something very individual that needs to be thought about. So let's get to the different topic, registration at financial authority. Also, this is very individual, because whether or not you need to register is really depending on your kind of income. if you're only employed, if you don't have any income, you might not be obligated to register at financial authority. So it's very individual. The obligation is not given every time, because when you're moving to Germany, you register your residence so that you get a tax ID for your work, because you need to check personal tax ID for paying your wage tax, and this does not mean that you're registering at financial authority. So it's very important to know if you need to or you don't need to. Usually when you're only an employee and your partner is also an employee and you don't have any other income, you usually file your first income tax declaration and then you're registering at financial authority. But if you're self-employed, or if you have a company, or if you're a freelancer or whatever, or if you do if you have rentals in Germany and or properties in Germany, you're renting them to other people, then you need to register at financial authority. This is very important, and you need to do this right away. Maybe not the first day that you're in Germany, but you need to do it immediately, because the income that you earn in Germany needs to be taxed in Germany. It's also important to know if you're an employee for like an Israeli company, like an employee for Israeli company, but working from Germany, and you have established a residence here and your center of life is in Germany. It's also important to know that even though the salary comes from an Israeli company, you might need to register at financial authority for this company only for wage tax purposes, because the salary that you earn is German income, because you're working from Germany. So it's very individual, and it's very important that you need to check whether or not you need to register. Tax implications. Yeah, we all know Germany. We all know the German law and bureaucracy. So what companies need to do is they need to file a lot of tax reports. So this also means not only for financial authorities, but also reports for different authorities. This could be anything. So it's depending on the kind of business that the company is doing. Also, there's an obligation for yearly tax declaration, for financial statements. They all have deadlines. It's very strict, these obligations. Also, depending on the profit that the company is doing or the freelancer is doing, they might need to pay quarterly advance payments, tax payments to financial authority, which will be deducted in the end with the tax declarations. But this might be an obligation for them. So it's very important to know that you need to communicate and work with the German authorities. Don't ignore any paperwork, just try to communicate and work with them. That's the easiest and best you can do. So when it comes to an individual or private person, you can also be obligated to file a tax declaration yearly. But this is also very individual. You might not be obligated, you can be obligated. So this is also important to check if you are. And I can't tell you all the reasons to be obligated. There are just too many. Also, individuals can be obligated to pay advance payments for taxes. That's like, for example, when you have rental income, which is not taxed monthly with the rent that comes to your bank account, but it needs to be filed in the tax declaration, and then it will be taxed. So you can do advance payments, so the tax payment in the end of the year is lower. This is also very important. And also in this case, you need to communicate and work with the German authorities. There's a lot of paperwork, and I also hate it, but it's very important to do it. So what are common mistakes which are done not only by expats in Germany, but you need to know them, and everyone does them, as far as I know, as far as I have experienced. If you purchase and sell property, it's very important to know that the profit of it can be taxed in Germany. Usually, when you had the property for more than 20 years, it should be tax-free. But if you purchased and sold the property within 5 years, there might be the possibility that the profit of this sale can be taxed in Germany. So every time you purchase and sell a property, keep in mind you need to check, is this taxed? Does this need to be taxed or not? That's like the most common mistake I experienced so far by my clients. What's also very important to know is that in Germany we have the inheritance tax. And as far as I know, in Israel, for example, there's no inheritance tax. So, which is very confusing for some of my clients if they have an inheritance in their family and they get some like properties from Israel or properties all over the world and money from all over the world. They are very shocked when they hear that they have to do a tax declaration in Germany because of this inheritance. So keep in mind, if there's any inheritance or from all over the world, it needs to be taxed in Germany when you are a German resident. Also, if you have property in Germany and you rent it to other people, you need to check, do you rent it short term or do you rent it long term? This can also lead to different kind of tax obligations. That's also very important to know. Like a short term rental can lead to extra VAT reports and VAT payments. So keep in mind also the rental can be different to your kind of experience. So yeah, the fourth thing that I wanted to mention is very easy. If you have a handcraftsman in your house and they repair anything, I know a lot of people who pay them in cash. But maybe because it's easier or it might be cheaper for them, but don't do this. If you want to have this kind of deduction, because it's a privilege in the tax system, if you want to deduct this from in your tax declaration, have it in the calculation as a privilege, don't pay them in cash. Pay them by your bank account and have this kind of transaction file so that you can prove to financial authority, hey, I have paid this handcraftman with my bank account. Just transfer the money, don't pay them in cash. Otherwise, it's not a privilege, a tax privilege, and it's just an expense that you got, but it's not taxable. So these are the common mistakes. And now my advantages of a tax advisor. As you can see, I have a lot of pros, but no cons. Because actually the only con might be that you have to pay us, but I know it's worth it. So what we can do for you is we do all kind of tax advice. So if you have any tax question, we can help you. We can communicate with the German financial authorities or with any other authority that you need help with. Also, we verify the tax assessments. We do support you with out-of-court redress procedures and also communicate all deadlines which are important for you to know. And if there's any deadline ahead, we communicate with you and we ask for documents, we ask for anything so we can keep this deadline straight. And also for you to don't lose control of the whole paper load work. I know in Germany we have a lot of paperwork. So you don't lose any control of it because the paperwork from German financial authority will come to our office and we will summarize them with the most important information and send them to you. So it's for you will just see, oh, okay, I have to pay this maybe because of this and this reason, and then it's easy for you to understand and summarize. So you can see this in a different way, and you didn't have to do it yourself. Also, if you are not familiar with the German language, it might be easier for you to have a tax advisor because we can actually communicate in German with financial authorities and explain to you in English why anything is happening, why you need to do anything. And yeah, so this is something I think is a very good example for the advantage of a tax advisor. So I think that's all for now. Thank you very much for listening. And if you have any question, let me know.
So thank you very much. It was very, very fast. Yeah, I think that it would be better to stop sharing and then we can have the screen for ourselves. So we have a lot of questions and we actually left a lot of time for questions because text answers can be more than 1 minute answer. So yes, I know that, but there are a lot of more, I would say, in the chat specific questions. Before we go to that, we already received in advance questions that are more general. So you talked about deadlines, so I would like to bring up the deadlines. What do you mean by deadlines? Do individuals have, if we talk about individuals, do we have deadlines that we have to submit our tax declaration? Does it depend on something? How does it work in general?
So as an individual, you can have an obligation to file a tax report, and there can be the deadline for you. If you don't have a tax advisor, you're obligated to file the tax report by the 31st of July, following the year that you're filing the tax declaration for. If you have a tax advisor, you actually have some more time until the end of February the following year, the year after the following year of the tax declaration. So like 2024 has to be reported until the 31st of July in 2025 if you don't have a tax advisor. If you have a tax advisor, it is the 98th or 99th of 26.
That's a big advantage.
Yeah, I think so.
Definitely. Another question that we had is, how do I know as a freelancer when to file my taxes?
Yeah, that it's depending what kind of taxes you mean. And also if you mean like the yearly tax declarations, it's also the same deadline. The yearly tax declarations, if you have a tax advisor, it's the 98th of February. If you don't have a tax advisor, it's the 31st of July. But if you are a freelancer or a company or anything, you have a lot of different other deadlines, like for wage taxes or for social security, for VAT payments. So there are a lot more. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we can start take from the chat. If you have the same, but then the same salary, I assume, but then one goes to Elternzeit, does it make a sense does it make sense to change it, or better to just leave it and then at the end of the year to do a tax refund? And I'll just clarify for those who are not in Germany yet, what is Elternzeit? Elternzeit is parental leave that the parents can, maybe you can actually say a few words about Elternzeit and taxation. But in general, the parents can share the leave, so they can take care of the baby, both of them, one each time, and go back to work. So then I refer the question to you. Should we change the tax class if we in Elternzeit?
Also, this is very individual because it depends on how high is your income. Does it make any difference if you pay less wage tax monthly, or how long will be the Elternzeit, the parental leave? So this is very individual. I have experienced that it can be an advantage to change the tax classes, but I have also experienced that it doesn't make any sense. So yeah, this is very individual. It's not, I can't say yes, I can't say no. So yeah.
So I would actually follow up with the question that we already received before, that we're moving to Germany next year, and I will earn, well, early next year, and I will earn 5,000, and my wife wouldn't work for the first year. Should we change at the beginning the tax class? What would you recommend until the wife starts to work?
Yeah, this could be an example for tax class 3 and 5, but there could also be any other personal information that I don't have right now, which are not, which couldn't be an advantage in this case. So it could be an idea to do tax class 3 and 5, but I don't know any other personal information. So it's,
Is it possible to change and,
yeah,
back and forth?
yeah, it's possible. I think it's possible to do like twice a year, so I wouldn't do it monthly. But I think it's if you're moving to Germany, and you would automatically be 4 and 4, tax class 4 and 4, and you can then apply for 3 and 5, and it will be considered in the month after the application.
Okay, so I think that when I talk to my clients, then I say, okay, wait with the changing, because you might think that you don't want to work for, such a long time. And then like, okay, after 2 months at home, you're like, I can't do this anymore. And then you're going to regret that you changed the tax classes because it's very limited, twice a year is not a lot. Next question is USA American retirement pension and or annuity income tax, and if so, what is the tax rate? And that we also may be connected to taxes on German pension also.
So you mean like having pension in Germany and receiving them and paying for them?
Yes, if you're a German resident and you get retirement funds or retirement pension from the US, do you get taxed for it in Germany?
Okay, this is very individual, because you need to check how is it taxed in Germany. Is it taxed? And then you need to see need to look up in the double tax treaties. So what kind of pension is it? What kind of pension fund is it? So that's very individual. That's depending. But in my opinion now, most of the time it's taxed in the US. But as I said, it's depending on the kind of pension and the double tax treaty you might have.
Okay, and do you get taxed for pension money that you pay pension, and after that, when you get paid, are there taxes on it?
So if you pay into the pension fund in Germany, it's not taxed, because you're paying for it to save it. And if you get paid from the pension company to yourself, like when you're retired and you get the pension, then it gets to get taxed. Yeah, it will be taxed. I can't say the amount, because this is also depending on your personal tax situation. That's very individual.
I would actually like to add to that, because someone asked me in one of the Facebook groups that we posted the webinar, what the implications for the German tax regarding SOFA. So that I would like to add that basically employment other than employment in the US military or US government, so is always subject to German taxation in accordance to the rules in Germany, to the laws in Germany, including self-employment individuals that are also subject to German income taxes. So my advice, I think, would be that is not a tax advisor. That's why I'm not, referring to you about that, because with SOFA regulations and German taxation, I think that the wisest thing to do would be to go to the legal office of the base of the military branch that you're part of, and then to ask there, and that would be the best advice that you can get, because someone is very an expert on SOFA taxation. Let's continue with the question. If my main income is only from Israel and I live in Germany, but I pay taxes in Israel, do I still need to pay taxes in Germany? This double taxing. What about the international tax agreement between countries to avoid double taxation? I think that Israel and the US both have also tax
Yeah.
agreement with Germany. So your
Yeah,
floor.
this is also something that our clients have a lot. So they come to Germany, they have still their income from their home country, and there are double tax treaties. So you usually don't have to be taxed twice in both countries, but it's important to figure out where your income really has to be taxed. So if you get taxed in Israel, and you're living in Germany and you're working in Germany and your center of life in Germany, it can happen that the income has to be taxed in Germany afterwards when you're moving there, because this is your center of life and you're doing your income, you're earning your money in Germany, so it has to be taxed here. But also this depends on the kind of income that you have. That's very individual, yeah.
But doesn't it concern the number of days that you are in a country? Like you said, the 180 days. So it's 182 or 3. And then your income is actually reported. If you're more than 180 days, then your income has to be reported and taxed in the country that you live in, right? No matter where the income comes from.
Yeah, it's correct, but it's also very depending, because you can stay there for more than 183 days, and you can establish the habitual abode there. So you are legally unlimited taxable, so you have to file a tax report. But there could be some German laws which tell you that you are not actually obligated, so you are unlimited taxable, but you don't have to file a tax declaration. So still there are these double taxation agreements. So you will, at least with the USA and Israel, you're not going to pay double taxes.
Okay. Can you clarify who pays inheritance taxes? If the person, lives in Germany, they will pay taxes. Does a recipient who does not live in the country pay taxes of that inheritance?
So I understood that if the person dies if the person who inherits the givings, whatever it is, the money or property, yeah,
Yeah,
most of
so
the
the person
time
who died lives in Germany and the
the
recipient
recipient.
not.
This is also depending. So like when it's about property or it's about money, it's depending whether it's really in Germany. If the property is in Germany, it needs to be taxed. And also because of the person that died in Germany, it needs to be taxed because it was a German person, a German resident who died. So yeah, there's inheritance tax.
Okay, and now we have a question from the other side.
Oh.
Yeah. Do I need to pay inheritance tax even if the inheritance is not in front or in or from Germany? So if
Yeah,
someone dies outside of Germany and you're a resident of Germany, so you have to pay taxes even though. So it's not good to die, you're basically
it's
saying, when
not
you're
good
a
to die
resident.
when you're living in
No
Germany.
one has to die when you live in Germany. Okay, that's yeah, okay, good to know.
Yeah.
But in case so, the answer would be yes, I guess, that you need to pay inheritance tax no matter where the person lived.
Yeah, but also there are some privileges. So it depends. If your father dies, you have a free amount which is not taxed. So it's really depending on what is inherited and is it a property? Is it money? What is it? So yeah, it's that's important to know, and the amount.
Well, I heard that you can give your children or parents, or to transfer between family, 400,000 euros a year, or in 10
Not a year.
years. In 10
In 10
years,
years,
right?
yeah.
In 10 years, yes. Can you elaborate on that?
I mean, like, what exactly do you mean? Like,
If instead of inheritance, to wait for the person to die, the parent, for example,
okay.
would it be better if they actually give when they're still alive?
So what a lot of people in Germany do is that, like when the children are mature and they are like 20 to 30 or 40 years old, and the parents are already 60, 70 years old, they give their children some parts of their properties or their assets, so that the free amount which can be used in an amount of 400,000 euros, for example, is used, and 10 years later, when maybe the parents die or they're still alive, you can use this amount again. So you can use it every 10 years, but it's really important. It can be a good way to actually avoid the inheritance tax, but you have to do it when you're not too old, because you never know when you will die. So it's
That is true. Well, and just a question before we continue to the next one, because who keeps track on that? So if you received, for example, this year 50,000, and the next year you received 100,000, and who keeps track of how much is for the 400,000? Is it the
I
Finanzamt, the tax authorities?
I'm not sure about it. If you don't tell your tax advisor, he doesn't know. If you don't tell financial authority, they won't know. But if your bank um, company will check all these payments, and they might give information to financial authority, and also they have international contacts. So all international authorities might communicate to each other. Also, if you get interests from bank accounts in Israel, they might communicate this to the German financial authority. That's what I experienced. So I got letter from financial authority for a client telling me, oh, they got some interest, they got some money. Why is it not taxed in Germany? So yeah, you might not be able to avoid these inheritances.
So you're saying always follow the law and report about everything.
Of course.
And that's how we get to the next question. If I sell my house in the US, are you saying I would have to pay tax for this on this sale in Germany? And I assume that the meaning of it is if I'm a German resident and I sell my house in the US when I'm already a German resident, do I have to pay tax for this?
I would say no. That I'm assuming that you have lived for yourself. You yourself lived in this house, so it's a clear no for German tax law. But still, we need to look in the double tax agreement for the US.
Okay. Is income from US trusts generally taxed to the beneficiary or to the trust itself?
That's
That's really specific, I would say.
that's really specific, and I can't answer this right now.
Yeah, okay. I think that we would skip it, and we definitely encourage the person who has to actually consult with you or another tax advisor and see how it can go, because this is very specific. If I rent an apartment in Germany and do renovations and get a new kitchen, can I get some tax refund? If I own a house in Israel and do their renovation, can I get tax refund in Germany if I pay taxes in Germany? So if I
It is
do
possible.
renovations all over the world, do I get tax refund on it in Germany?
Oh, all over the world. Well, it needs to be your residence, and also it's I would need to check the law regarding the worldwide renovations, but I would say that I would just concentrate on the German renovations. And yes, parts of it are um, a privilege in the German tax declaration, but keep in mind you have no cash payments, please, and not the whole part of the invoice will be a privilege. Only the working part, the working hours of the company who does these renovation for you.
And I think an important part to say, does it matter if you own the apartment or rent the apartment? Does it
That
matter
doesn't
for the
matter.
tax?
No.
It doesn't matter. Okay. Um, let's
Well,
see. Yeah.
it actually does matter sometimes, but it's that's very specific again.
Yeah. So if I rent an apartment, do I get a tax refund if I only rent? Yes. So that we said. We actually had, before we go, I think that the inheritance tax got everybody's attention, and everybody thinking like people are dying. We're afraid for the body. Before that, we did have a question about home office. Sorry. Can one get is home office deductible?
Yeah, it is. It is deductible.
Are there terms for the deduction? Does it need to have a room? It can be a co-work space, or it can be in the kitchen.
It can be everything right now, like since like I think 24 or 23, there were some law changes, and if you don't have an office room in your company, like you don't have a company you can go to and work at your place there, but you have to work in the home office, then can be a different privilege you get, and for your home office work. But there are different terms, so I can't explain them right now, but it's a privilege, yeah. But there
Okay.
are a lot of different terms, so
Can you give examples, maybe?
like for example, when you're working on your kitchen table every day, um, you would have a place at your work where you can go to, but you prefer to work at home. There's only an amount of, I think, 1,200 euros, 1,250 or something, that you can deduct in a yearly amount from your income of employment. And if you have a separate room and you have a home office, which is your only workplace that you don't have a company you can go to and work there. So this is the only place that you have, then you have a different amount which you can deduct. So maybe you can deduct the exact amounts of like percentage of the rent, of the gas costs, of internet, of everything that you have in your home. So this is some different calculation.
Okay. Another inheritance question. I have to say, it's really interesting, because when kind of like adults come here and move to Germany, so we have older parents, and it's something that we don't usually take under account. We don't consider this before we move to Germany.
Mm.
So this is something that's why part of the process that we do in the relocation prep, we suggest to consult with tax advisor as soon as possible, in order to understand how to work things. If the person died before we moved to Germany, do we still need to pay the inheritance tax?
I would say no, because you're at the moment the person dies is the moment the inheritance tax would be set on. Like the day the person dies is the moment the tax is born, you can say. So if you're not a resident in Germany, and the person who dies is not a resident in Germany, on the day that he dies, then I would say no, it's not taxable in Germany.
Okay, so if one dies on day A, and the children, or the son moved to Germany with his family on the day after, so it can't be taxable in Germany.
No, it's not. Because it's not depending on when you receive the money, or when you get the information about the death. It's the most important thing is the moment. Usually, the moment of the inheritance is the moment the person dies.
Okay, so it's not the date that you get the money, it's the date of, and this is actually a good point that someone raised in the chat. What about the date of the will approval?
You mean like the
So
testament?
you already moved to Germany. Someone, the parent, let's say the parent died, and then you moved to Germany, and then there was still no reading the will, no will approval. So it
Okay.
takes some time. And then let's say a month after you move to Germany, there's a will reading, and then it turned out that you inherited 1 million euros. What happens then with the tax?
Um, yeah, it's really depending. So it's really specific, but in my personal opinion right now, I would say it's not taxable, but this needs to be checked. So it's specific and individual.
Okay. So I think that if we have no further questions, I would like to very much thank you for your time.
Thank you very
And
much for the invitation.
if anyone would like to contact Johanna, so then you can do it through us. We refer our clients to her firm, and they're very, very nice and helpful and speak English and professional, which is very much unicorn in Germany. For specific rates, this is something that is a price quote. So this is something that they can also give only after kind of like introduction call, right?
Right.
So thank you for joining us this evening, afternoon, morning, and I hope to see you. You can sign up to our next events, next monthly events, and thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Thank
Bye bye.
you. Bye bye.